Hi everyone. So, welcome. Just setting everything up, no countdown, continuing where I left off, kind of. And hopefully, if there are people here, the chat is working as well. Thanks for liking it, whoever you are. Like I said, I don't know if the chat is... Yes, the chat is working. Mark, welcome. Nice of you to be here. Basically, this entire life is for you. Not because you're the only one here, because I think 3 hours ago, make it 5 hours ago, I started a live. 3 hours ago, I stopped the live, and those 2 hours of live streaming were basically trying to make a thicker binder for the 3-roll mill and for tube paint. Having a look at how much how much thicker I can get my binder. What? Sound asleep? What's wrong? Is something wrong with the sound? Oh no. I don't want something to be wrong with the sound. Okay. Okay. Well, let's have a look how far we can... Oh, you were asleep. Let's have a look how far we can go, how far we can come in those 50 minutes. Just as a recap, what I did, let me first start there. As you can see around me, gum arabic pieces. What I tried is mixing gum arabic powder, the pre-filtered one, so clean gum arabic powder, with warm water. I installed a small stovetop, a heating pit, which was already in my tiny kitchen here, and I heated up my distilled water, but only half of it. So usually, basically in this, because I read it before I formulated my own binder, I read that gum arabic only dissolves in 2 parts water against 1 part gum arabic. But I want a thicker binder, so I want to use half of the water. So 1 part water, 1 part gum arabic. And since I want to try it now, or during a live, I decided I go with powder. Also, because the other one takes a lot of time, and you know, I wanted to try this just quickly. I don't want to waste too much energy or time on something that might not work. So what I did, I heated up some distilled water, and I added the gum arabic, and it's turned into quite a something not nice. Ian, welcome. So this is what it turned into, and these are the air bubbles, but underneath there is a almost caramel-like gum arabic. It's not translucent or transparent even, not even close, but it's a lot better than it was. It now has some caramel-like dark color substance to it, whereas before it just looked like a banana puree. And I think I got rid of most of the lumps, so this might just might have worked. I'm not sure. Oh no, I still see lumps. Never mind, I still see some lumps. The weird thing is, hi Gulchen, a watercolorist, welcome. I've never experienced, and this now smells like the gum arabic that I know, but I never experienced gum arabic, dissolving gum arabic in warm water or hot water. It smelled so much like an almost fermented honey. It smelled like honey, but then something kind of off to it. I'm a great cook. I love cooking. I just, don't have a cooking channel. Anyway, yeah, but Ian, this is actually not that bad. Actually not bad at all. So yeah, it's really thick. The air bubble just doesn't want to pop. There you go. That's better. So this is what I've been trying. That was one thing that I was trying. The other thing that I was trying was adding a substance to it that would make it thicker. And we can add cellulose, which makes it tackier, I think, kind of. Methyl cellulose. I have to try that though. Let me have a look in paint. Maybe I can find natural methyl cellulose. A natural adhesive, plant-based glue, and paint binder. Not non-poisonous, dissolved in water, will make a liquid glue with a neutral pH. Dries clear. So yeah, I can definitely try it. I mean, sorry, watercolorist. I'm trying to make a thicker binder. So why am I trying to make a thicker binder? Getting kind of repetitive here, but that's okay. And remember to like. Thank you very much. So now I really want to answer your question. I want to try to make a thicker binder for my 3-roll mill, since I see paint makers use it with watercolor paint, and some of them, and some of you know, or I think, Mark, you're the only one who I shared that with, but some of you have probably seen it, that there's like an oil paint consistency paint being poured in the 3-roll mill, a thick paint that is spread out way more evenly on the 3-roll mill than a very liquid paint. A liquid paint is, because of the runniness, it goes way faster through it. Like if I have 100 milliliters of a very flowy paint, it will just in one go like go out. Whereas a thick paint just takes its time, being kind of caught by the first roll. So yeah, I want to have a thicker paint for that. Some paints, or a thicker paint. So thicker paint without additives means I need to start with a thicker binder without additives. Other thing is, Mark had a request for tube paint. And Mark, by the way, in the previous live today, I shared that there is 3.1 milliliters of wet paint that goes into a pen that is dry. So 3.1 milliliters is the amount of wet paint that goes into a fully cured half pen in my brand. Tube paint, though, is preferably less runny. And I did just, did the, with the syringe, I figured out how much wet paint, at least of ultramarine blue, goes into a half pan. But when I use half of the water, that is going to change. So I need to check that again. So it's, yeah. If I want to use as less heat as possible as well. So that's one thing. Oh, a watercolorist. That's just nasty. That is. I mean, if it's a secret, please keep it a secret. But why share this? That's just teasing. That is. If you're feeling better by sharing that over a DM, feel free to do so. I won't share it to anyone else. But anyway, I think this might work. I think I can dissolve the powdered gum arabic in half of the water. And yeah, maybe I can use a little bit more water because half of it is maybe kind of extreme. But I wanna use as little heat as possible because the adhesive property of gum arabic is influenced by heat, by a lot of heat. And it still needs honey and glycerin. Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to add that now to this bubbly thing here. It still needs to unbubble. And the more I mix it now, the more bubbly and opaque it gets. So, I'm not even... so the ratio here is 1:1. 1 part water, 1 part gum. Usually I use 1 part gum, 2 parts water. But let me just quickly reply to someone. I just thought I'm cutting it in half. Ratio by weight, yeah. Yeah, a watercolorist. Right now I'm using 1:1, and I don't think I can. Can I really get something that fully dissolves with less water and no heat, or very little heat? Because I was able to hold this very thin metal bowl with my hand after I poured in the water. So it wasn't boiling at all. So it's... But less than a 1:1 ratio, if I understand you correctly. Yeah, but that's the thing. Maybe I'm too stubborn or too traditional, maybe even in this sense. But boiling water is something I want to avoid. I've seen people use boiling water in their binder, and the positive feedback I get from my paints, especially where it differs from other paint makers, is also where I noticed that those paint makers use a hot method of making their binder, whereas I just, you know, do it very slowly and with cold water. It's so secret that you don't remember the ratio. Well, that's definitely secret then. I need boiling water and powdered gum arabic. Yeah, that was what I was afraid of. Okay. I think, you know, this is very, very runny. I mean, I still need to add the same amount of pigment. I just dialed down the water. So the gum, so basically I would need half the amount of binder with twice the amount of pigment then in that case, wouldn't it? Ish, maybe. Okay, I just ran into another difficulty. So basically the additives are going to be the glycerin and the honey are going to be the same amount. I just dialed down the water, the amount of water. Which is 1 part. So it's a third less in weight, not in volume, in weight. I've made it quite difficult for myself. I'm making paint by volume. I'm making my binder by weight. That's not ideal. Sorry, I'm in the exact same spot as I was 3 hours ago when I was just, I think it's already 5 hours ago, when I was just sitting thinking and listening to all the thoughts going on in my head. How much pigment that would need. Anyway, that's probably just a simple mathematical solution. You also can't remember how much honey you used, but it was an important component. Your recipe is too secret to even talk about, I think. But, you know, adding the glycerin and honey after it dissolves is something that's, I always do it. I want to have the base here before I add the things that make my paint act like my paint. So yeah, basically what you're saying is just I need to just use more heat. The other parts, you know, I won't change the other parts. So about that, you don't have to be sorry. I won't change the other parts. I want my paint to feel exactly as it does, which means the gum, honey, and glycerin ratios will be the same. No, I didn't add anything to this. This was literally a few hours ago, before I went to dinner. Went to dinner, is that how you say it? Yeah, right. Before I had dinner, this was a little bit more lumpy, and right now I've mixed it around like this, so it's definitely looking like roasted white chocolate again instead of a deep caramel. But before it looked more like a banana puree. It had lumps and yeah, if I add honey, it will become thicker. Okay, so let's just do that. Going to get my stuff. Let's have a look if I have everything. Should have everything in this drawer. Honey. I need to find honey. Need to find enough glycerin. Why are there so many almost empty bottles here? Okay, that's that. I need this as well. Okay, so. Well, I've used hot water, Mark, for this. Not boiling. I want to try to avoid as much heat as possible. So, if this dissolves, this is basically, I think, I don't really see any lumps. Most of it, maybe one smaller lump, but most of it are just air bubbles. I can't even find the lump anymore. Maybe it's gone. Okay. Well, that's fine. Thing is, if this doesn't work, I can just add 50 grams of water, 50 milliliters of water, and I have exactly the same binder as I usually have. So there's not really something that can go wrong here. Apart that this water was was heated, wasn't hot. It was heated. It was warm water, and I used powdered gum instead of the chunks. So yeah, I am warned, but also I'm going to find a small measuring cup for the honey and glycerin. Most annoying thing now is that I used to know where that was in my previous studio. I run into that issue quite often since I have my new studio. Oh wow, I even have an immersion blender here, so that's, I forgot about that. That is interesting. Okay, I still don't have it, so. This is really annoying since corn syrup can be used as well, by the way, Mark. And corn syrup is extremely cheap in the US. Here it's kind of expensive, so I'm not doing that as well. Maybe it's somewhere over here. Maybe what this can do. I can definitely use this. Okay. Okay, then I used 50 grams of it. Yes. 50 grams, right? Yeah, okay, so. Is something wrong with the camera? If something's not going right, please let me know. So I need this amount of honey. 1. off camera because this is my secret. I need this amount of that. Okay, so my mixture is ready. I used a big syringe for it. That mixture is ready. Wait. Okay. And so it's getting kind of full here. I added the oxgal, synthetic oxgal, and conservative. And now I'm going to there was the honey. Need to get everything out of there. Can I just suck in a little bit of the gum and then just, yes, that works. Okay, so I added the gum and glycerin. You are very right. So this is new for me, since usually this doesn't happen with the amount of water that I use in my binder. I noticed that it becomes a little more syrupy, but not thicker per se. But now, well, if I mix it thoroughly, it is, I think, at the same consistency again. Okay, so it started like a big lump, and now it's back again. So basically, this should be a thick version of the binder that I usually have. Don't think I understand what you're saying, Mark. So this looks kind of promising-ish. Now, how do I test? How do I test? How do I test this? Let me have a look. Let me have a thought. Let me think. Okay, just going to try to get all of the honey out of it, but just it's kind of satisfying actually. You would say by putting it in a syringe like this, the air bubbles will just, kind of be sucked out, but this is not particularly what you would say a very clear binder. It did become thicker when I added it in. I scooped it around. It became like a sticking together lump-ish thing, but the more I mixed it, the more it became one again and just took over the consistency it already had. Well, basically, Mark, send me the video. I want to know why that person did that. I'm going to add this, like basically, so what I have here is my binder. So I will definitely mix it with pigment in any way. And then I shouldn't do this with my shoulder. It's actually quite kind of heavy. So there wouldn't be an issue with mixing this, I think, with the pigment. I think, right? There shouldn't be. Let me see if I can quickly get a small something here. That looks small enough. Okay, I have a small glass jar, and I will just put this in. I think all the honey and everything is out of the syringe. Should be able to get the rest out as well. Is that the same person as we were talking about the other day? At least one of those sounds was the syringe. No, joking. Shall I try to make paint with this? It's kind of the entire idea behind this, right, isn't it? Let me first get a drink. Just a cup of tea. So yeah, there's I think that would be very fun, a watercolorist. Not just your friendly gesture, but also having someone know about all this stuff, just here and helping, or just even thinking along, sharing secret recipes, for instance. uh, that would be fun. But yeah, it's the weird things. The pain is a lot less, a lot less, and it's really going away. But it's been there for too long, so I feel that, you know, I think there's some damage because of the pressure, and I don't know if the inflammation was even the main reason of the pain. It kind of feels like the inflammation came because of something else, because it's not fully gone yet. Only time can tell, and a doctor. But I need to wait for another week to see if it's entirely gone before they are going to look at it again. So now only time can tell. How shall I make paint with this? I don't think I can inject anything with this syringe. I think it's a bit blunt for injecting stuff, but yeah. Anyway, how shall I make paint with this? Shall I make it on the slab? Or how am I going to wet the pigment? I actually need that small measuring cup. I don't know where I left it. Because for this method, I think I need to set the milliliters that I usually have. I have two arms, watercolors. This is also a milling arm. You know, I can mill with two hands. I've showed that before. You know what? I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to use this amount of the binder with this amount of pigment. Shall I just do ultramarine blue again? See how that ends up, or something else? Maybe yellow ochre. My jar of yellow ochre. Can I find it here? Probably can. Can I? Or I can't. That's weird. I did tell that my when the radiologist during the ultrasound looked at where the inflammation was for putting an injection in it, he looked at my other shoulder to compare it, and he asked me with a certain tone in his voice. He asked me if I don't have any pain here. It wasn't a question like is like if this shoulder is okay. It was more like, are you sure this isn't also painful? Like that. And I thought it was just to compare it. Maybe they looked really much alike from the inside. But when I walked away, I thought, maybe because I've been using this arm so much, maybe there's something there too. Maybe I should have asked him that. maybe I'll call the hospital tomorrow to ask, because I've been wondering for a couple of times now, and I want to have an answer. Let's take a random yellow ochre then, in that case. Yellow earth from an old jar, handwritten on it, yellow earth. Okay. That amount of pigment. Let's also share it with you. That's also, there's a bit of pigment still. So there's the pigment. And here's that goopy binder. That very goopy binder. And now I'm going to add water, because now, okay. This feels like I'm making slime with my daughters. It doesn't feel like making paint. Doesn't look like making paint either, to me. Okay, so I've definitely achieved a thicker binder. Yeah, I know I'm using my wrong hand for this, wrong arm for this, but I'm left-handed, so I can't do everything with my right hand. Not if I don't want to be covered in ochre myself. Okay. That's interesting. That's the wrong one. Why is this still on there? That's not even my screen right now. I mean, where is it? There it is. And look at this. That is a lot thicker. Almost peaky. Yeah, so what watercolors, what I have for, what I used last week for my binder, the binder that I have is this. This is a resin, this mixes resin with any pigment, mica pigment or a alcohol pigment. And basically what it does, it's a USB chargeable mixer with quite a lot of force on it. And it works great for just mixing things up. It's not like a aggressively high with a immersion like blade in it. Nothing like that. But you know, the silicone, or it's hard plastic, but it has a kind of layer on it. It's easy to clean. So I don't know, this works well. There's a little stand with it, so you can actually put it in a jar like this and don't have to hold it. But for a thick consistency like this, I mean, I can feel how thick it is, and this is basically what you This is from 2 angles for you. I'm just going to go away. You can see it on the other thing. That is a great thick consistency, to be honest. Nami-sao, welcome. Yeah, Mark, no air bubbles. That's true with a mixer like that, because it's slow and it doesn't have like a blade sucking everything into a vortex. So there's no added air to it. So yeah, that's true. This looks rather promising, to be honest. I want to say I'm kind of surprised. I'm not kind of surprised because, well, not because it's me, but I just literally put in half the water, so kind of makes sense that it does this. OBS gives me a notification again. Hopefully YouTube doesn't take it over, or else we have dropping frames again or lagging things. Just going to have a look. Might be able to... You can still see me, right? Yeah, you can still see me. I think it's a little bit laggy right now here, there. Isn't it? Not quite sure though. Yeah. This. So I'm just going to try. I'm just going to kind of keep pushing this. See if the notification goes away again. See if the dropping frames or the lagging things goes away. Thanks for joining, Mark. See you soon. Hopefully speak to you soon. Definitely. So not quite sure if it's still dropping frames. Probably is though, I think, looking at this. I just can't get over why this is happening. I mean, this is kind of, from my side, it's running smooth. Here, I noticed what was going, I noticed it going wrong with the first notification from OBS. But this is getting out of control, guys. This is what's going on. This is getting really, really annoying, everyone. Yeah, there's extremely low frames right now, and it's not on my side again. Like nothing here adds up to what's happening on YouTube. I have no idea what it is. So I'm just going to do the be right back. Please stick around, everyone. Stay in the chat. So now nothing is wrong with Kevin. Welcome. I haven't seen you in the chat yet, so welcome. Thanks for joining. A watercolorist, you say it's fine as well. And yet my YouTube gives a lot of yellow flags here saying I need to open widgets to fix it, but the widgets only give the issue, which is an issue that I just... It says it doesn't receive enough video. And I fixed the FPS. Previous stream, I thought I found the issue because having one camera, especially that camera, gave me 40 frames per second. This camera over here, the slab, gave me 60 frames per second. Combined, it gave me 36 frames per second. All of them together here, 32 frames per second. That camera gave me 45 frames per second. So the original 60 frames per second, which this camera over there and that camera over there can do, weren't the issue. It didn't really get 60. Only this one got 60. But I put everything on 30 frames per second, and for the last 53 minutes, as long as I'm streaming, this has been going 30 out of 30 frames per second. So I'm feeding him 30, it's putting out 30. No frame drops or whatever. My CPU is at 5%, even lower at sometimes. Full connection, 10,000 kbps, bit stream, bit rate, whatever. I have no clue. I think it is, Kevin. I think it is. And it's really annoying because I've been streaming every single week for at least one time a week, Wednesday evening, and now I'm doing it twice today as well. And only since last week, I think, this was a real issue. And before that, I've had weeks and weeks of the same settings here. I didn't change the settings, only changed the setup of the camera, things like that. The sound, that's been an issue, that was on my side. Your comments come true, Sebastian. Thank you so much, Kevin, and thank you for joining. It's great, and to hear that you're. It's been a long day for me. That you're a regular watcher, follower. So thank you very much, and thanks for joining. It's a lovely, merry group of pigment people here. So if we can continue, YouTube, if you don't mind. Yes, is everything okay, YouTube? Still that, it's like a big yellow bar just on my screen, screaming that I need to fix something. It's really annoying because if it works here, why show that? I've managed to get a paint that is a desired consistency for what I was after. Hopefully, and this is the ultimate test, I'm not going to mill this, because this is going to take too much time to mill, actually. So yeah, the channel is growing nicely. Yeah, it's the audience that has been joining my channel. I now have I have a little over 9,000 followers, and that's been growing rapidly. But I don't see that back in the videos being watched or people joining the live, which is fine. I've had that same experience on Instagram before. That's a video goes kind of viral, and then I don't see any changes in sales or in interaction with the videos or me or my stories or whatever. So that's a bit of a shame. Wished not that I need to divide my attention to more people, or want to divide my attention to a lot of more people, but it's a shame that I've kind of grown 7-ish thousand followers over the last month, and I don't see that back in anything. Yes, but that's, I think, social media in a nutshell. So yeah, can't wait to get to the 100K, but that's just because of that YouTube flag. It's not like I need that to have myself confirmed in any way that I matter or anything like that. It's just it's just nice to see those things with others. So yeah. But in this rate, or it's especially the rate that my YouTube has been going before the last few months, that's a hard goal to achieve for me, I think. I'm in a very small niche I'm actually making a small niche, kind of more the adventures of a single handmade watercolor paint maker. But yeah, thank you, Kevin. Glad that you're enjoying them. I wish I could put out more videos. I'm working on a few, and then I have some ID changes, and the yellow bar is gone. Yes, okay. So YouTube agrees with you that there's no issue anymore. But I have some IDs. Het gaat goed, dankjewel Sebastian. Tenminste, gezien de omstandigheden gaat het goed. I don't know if you understood that. He's from South Africa. I'm from the Netherlands, and there's a lot of similarities in our language, but there's also a lot of differences. So anyway, this kind of adventure that I'm on, trying all these things that I wouldn't usually try. I mean, if my shoulder was okay, I would have never thought about trying a 3-roll mill, let alone trying to make a thicker binder for that thing. So there's loads of side quests here in this journey that leads to more side quests, and the main thing, I think it's kind of shifting what the main thing is. Definitely, I think that's nice. I think definitely paint making is always like it's number one, but thinking about that my channel has been monetized since earlier this year, and I'm seeing some ad revenue income, a little bit of it. So I've been monetized since March February, March. We're going to miss you too, Ian. And I think I got my first payment in August, because you need to make 70 euros as a threshold to be paid. 70 euros is the minimum. And so I think I got it, my first one in June or August. No, it was August. June. I don't know. No, August. Definitely August. Then I got one in September. No, October. It skipped September. October, I got one. November, I got one. I'm probably going to get one in December as well. So I'm getting that 70 quicker each time. So it was August for me, from March to August. Then it skipped September and October were together. Then I got that goal, and November I got it as well because of that viral short, which almost has 10 million views right now, by the way, which is crazy. And because of that short, and Sebastian, obviously, and all others, all the super chats here, they add up to that as well. But seeing a bit of income made me think, it's not like the 70 euros make me think, okay, I'm going to quit selling paints and just going full on YouTube because of that. But seeing people actually getting a quite a nice income from YouTube, I can also make just go full time on making content, or saying like 5 days a week with the time with the kids, minus that time, but all the time that's left that I usually work, make paint, I can make content, and I can make content about making paint, about different pigments, making them. And maybe my selling paints will be the side hustle. Maybe I'm selling the paints that I make for a video, and the video will be the main thing. So that's an idea that's been in my head now for a while. But yeah, with these live streams that are just lagging out of nowhere, I'm not sure anymore. So this thick paint, I can try and run it through the mill. Wait, Sebastian, for me, I haven't opened my shop since the election. I haven't opened my shop in a while now because of the new studio and then my shoulder. I wanted to open my shop a few weeks ago. I couldn't make that. I wanted to open it last week. I couldn't make that. And paint making has been slow as well. So really, I hope this 3-roll mill, I can practice with it. I hope that will solve this issue as well. I'm just going to show you what that looks like, because that is the consistency I was looking for actually. Basically like white balance, come on. Basically like oil paint, right? Shall I? Wait, you know what? I'm just going to put this in the tiny glass jar. And I'm going to, where did I leave that? Oh no. Where does one leave a tiny glass jar? Never put something there. I think I'm going to make a little bit more of it, not out of it. And I'm going to try to put it in the machine tomorrow. I will film it though. But this looks promising. Hope I can get this tiny bit out of it, but I'll make more tomorrow. I will make more tomorrow. So how is everyone here doing? Just, you know, not about me, not about making paint, just you. How are you all doing? I already found it, Kevin, if that's what you meant. Going to put the yeah, but that's sentient. That's why I was looking for this. I've been to a few paint factories, and I think almost all the time I've seen oil paint being made on those things, but that's even a thicker consistency than this is, and that looks wonderful. That is awesome. 2x2 canvas for a commission in your living. So making it in your living room or for a commission in your living room. So good to hear you're doing fine, Namisao. And Sentient Tent is more sheer stress, less dripping how you're doing, or is that about the viscosity? Because it's a bit, I think there's a bit of a delay in the chat. I don't know. The soar and demolished your couch is definitely how you're doing, I think. So yeah. I'm just reading this. Thank you, a watercolorist. I'm honored, I think. I'm not. If you're if you are talking about me, I don't know. It would be very funny if there's someone else trying to, you know, do other stuff with watercolor that just worked before. I'm not trying to reinvent it. If you were talking about me, though. So yeah. I know. I've lost something once. It was a piece of jewelry, and I called my insurance. It was like, yeah, probably lost outside. I really don't know. And before the insurance thing was even settled, I was still on the phone. I found it in my couch, like kind of while I was on the phone. So I stopped the procedure. I thought, you know, I could have continued the phone call, but that would be kind of insurance fraud, knowing it. So I just, you know, I told the truth, was honest about that. But yeah, I could have just not sell anything. If I wasn't on my couch, I wouldn't have known. Maybe I found it later, but yeah. Wouldn't have been much of a amount of money, by the way. I don't know if it was even worth it then, but it was a long time ago. I think it was still like it was during my time on the art academy, so money was even more of an issue than it is now as a student. Looking at how much, you know, the prices of everything when I was a student compared to now, I think I lived a more luxurious life then, you know, day by day living than I can do now. Might be because there's two kids running around. No, not running around, they're asleep, but also might be because of what's behind me, around me. Might have had an influence, this, I think. Not quite sure. Yeah, I think I did a watercolorist, especially now with things like that. I know it's been a long time ago, but a friend of mine, he and I think we're talking 20 years ago. That's not possible because 20 years ago the iPhone didn't exist yet. Must have been 15 years ago. Let me quickly yeah, 16 years ago. A friend of mine 16 years ago found an iPhone at a parking lot, just a parking space next to a city center. And his mom said, you know, you have to put it back because, you know, whoever lost it, you wouldn't like it if someone took it, and whoever lost it will look for it. But with that, and we talked about that afterwards. I don't know what I would have done. I probably would have gone to the, I don't know, closest shop or a city. I don't know what kind of thing there is, but I think there aren't a lot of people who will find, especially with one of the first iPhones back then, which was quite a thing, not as expensive as they are now, but more revolutionary. I think anyone who would see that, almost anyone who would see that would take it. I don't think there's a lot of people who would have thought the same way. So yeah, there's that bit of your moral compass and your adjustment to society, and those can clash on those times. But yeah. It's not us, a watercolorist. Absolutely true. And Sebastian, about the things in America, I'm not going to start about that here. Since basically, I've followed the news kind of, but there's too much negativity going on in the world for me. Being able to process in my head, to not be feeling down all the time. So I'm trying to kind of avoid the negativity that I can't control. And that sounds, like a kind of selfish thing to do. But I really, I want more positivity in life. I think we all need more positivity in life. And that doesn't mean you have to ignore what's going on, but I'm definitely not going too much into it when I don't have to. And that's just a personal opinion from where I stand right now in my life. One moment, please. I need to turn this off. So I'm still going to need a container for this. I can probably let it stand like this as well with the kind of lid on. There's no dust flying around here. Thanks, a watercolorist. It's no, but I think I know people who need to be in touch with everything that's going on in the world constantly. I used to have FOMO like that as well. The fear of missing out. But one can only it's your smiley makes it that I laugh about that, a watercolorist. if I have no control over it, also over limiting how much of that negativity is I am surrounded by, or I'm like, yeah, the only control I have is don't look for it. And if I hear something, I'm not like scared, trying to turn anything off, or swipe away, or block a channel, or anything like that. And yeah. And yet still we're talking about the negative things here. Guys, happy things. Now, a watercolorist, it's true what you're saying, but it's not only that we're beginning to understand what's going on, we are in a constant flow of information. We're constantly informed, constantly updated, constantly notified by everything, about everything. And I think there's an issue with that. A constant stream of not only negativity, but distraction in general, distraction from what really matters. And I think it's important to realize that, you know, having devices, and everyone here, I mean, the fact that you're here means you have a device that does that, that can do that, and will do that if you allow it to. It will update you. It will, no matter which website you go, no matter which, there's always, you know, with social media, always negativity kind of luring until it can pop up, and whether that is in comments of people on posts on social media, or you know, only sad and horrible news of the world, whether it is about elections or wars or substances in food that turned out to poison us after, you know, having done research about it for the last 30 years, but not telling us. There's so much things going on. So yeah, a watercolorist. You stopped following the news back in 17. I think for me, kind of the same. Not the same reason, obviously. Yeah. And yeah, drama sells better, absolutely, Sebastian. The if you see anything, whether it is on social media, or television, interviews, talk shows, or podcasts, or anything like that, it's rarely about positive things, unicorns and rainbows. It's always about something dark, something that is scary, or people are scared for. People want to be prepared for something. Yeah. You're okay, Kevin. Thanks for changing the subject. Thank you, because we were kind of stuck. I think I need to change the background of the letters in the screen. You're looking at the shells behind me. I think, you know, have a better look. I'm wondering how you go about organizing and cataloging all of your pigments so you know where they are. I have no idea. To be honest, I'm quite good at finding them. I do catalog them. I have an Excel sheet. Excel, is it Excel? It's called Numbers with Apple. And there's everything. The pigment number, the name, and the manufacturer or the supplier that I bought it from. And that's it. So I put everything on color. I mean, I can take you along with it. I wish I had a preview on my phone of what I'm showing you here, because it's annoying that I don't, but so I have to look around a little bit. Here's my yellows, and here's my reds. There's a little museum shelf over here with old stuff. There's my oranges and violets, the greens, and then there's the blues. And then we go this way for the browns and pigment boxes. Then we have the whites and the blacks above there. More blues, a little bit of stock, a little bit of double stuff. Then I'll have a little bit more yellow, a little bit of earth and red. There's the watercolor paints drying. So, and then there's basically your spot. And like I said, there's a lot of mess here. But also I'm calling it your spot because you're over there. Thank you, a watercolorist. I like the lights as well. It's they're fairly new, yet cheap from IKEA, but they work. So I kind of organize them not only by color, but ultramarine blues are obviously next to the lapis lazulis, which also has similar colors, like in that color ranges thing. Then we have the phtalos, Maya blue, and I've lost the name. PB27. I've lost the name. Seriously? How is that possible? It's like I see the word in front of me, I can't read it. Prussian blue. There we go. I haven't read it because the chat is way behind, I notice. Prussian blue. So that's on one shelf, as are the phthalo greens, and then the viridian, but all the earth greens and the chromium oxides are on one shelf as well. So it's kind of, you know, pigment kinds with each other, same as bright reds to scarlets to deeper and cooler reds to earth reds here on that shelf. So there is a system to it, but then there's also cupboards there with doors closed that are full of pigments that I have no idea of what they are. I only see the color, but I don't know the pigment numbers of them. Let's have a look. Yes, an artist palette. That is, I think I'm just taking it here and showing it to you, but I need to... Do I need to search all this way for it? I do have it. I found it. This is the one, right? Yeah. So, I do have it. That's the annoying thing. What I just had with Prussian was I sometimes see colors and I think, oh, that's PG-17. Huh, that's, you know. Okay, but Sebastian, in that case, where would you put a benzimidazolone orange, for instance, or a dioxazine violet? Please do tell. Or maybe anethichrome red. Wow. Whatever. But yeah, this is a nice book, and I haven't read it yet, to be honest. It came in a few weeks ago, and I just looked through it like this. And it's just fascinating to see these kind of pictures as well, the old tubes or art materials, Whistler, Courbet. It's really, really fascinating to see the actual palettes that were used. Turner's watercolor palette and pens. His traveling box. This was just beautiful. Does it mention, since we are at watercolor palette, does it mention what pigments are used by each artist? I haven't read it. I don't see pigment numbers here. I am a lazy bastard, so let me just have a look if it can do this. Sorry about this. Can we take a photo? Yes, we can take a photo. Okay. Yes, I will. We'll do that, and I will need to make sure it is not. Okay. Okay, this is what I like. So I just took a picture from that page and I asked ChatGPT, taking a picture from the text only, which pigments were used. From the provided text, J.M.W. Turner used a variety of pigments, including reds, vermilion and red lake, likely a madder or carmine-based lake, yellows, ochre and a darkened chrome yellow, blues, indigo, cobalt and Prussian. Turner was known for mixing these pigments to create transparent layers, subtle grays, and rich color effects. His approach often involved layering paints to achieve depth and luminosity. So, there's your answer. You will find them in the image in the top left. Seriously. Image in the top left. Yeah, that's a breakdown of the colors, but not of the pigments. Right? Here, it does say, it says yellow lake, so it's not really a pigment. So yeah. But I need to read it, it's just, if you have a long text like that, or maybe long text, not even that long. During a live, it's quite a long text to look through. It's a beautiful book. Also, a nice touch with this. I can probably show that here. It is in relief, so there's a little bit of height difference with the palettes printed on the back. I like those details. The one in the front as well, but it's less obvious. since all of these have a different shape. Yeah, I can read it, a watercolorist, but I was more curious to see if there were actual pigment numbers or just the names of the pigments used. But I can read what's on the image. There's no that's not an issue. Can I do that ChatGTP with Van Gogh, the page from Van Gogh over here, or ask ChatGTP what pigments were used? Literally just came across Van Gogh. Beautiful work is displayed here as well. We're using a sharp knife, Sentient 10. So a watercolorist. From the text, the pigments used by Vincent van Gogh include red, vermilion, carmine, and geranium lake, yellows, ochre, red, yellow, and brown, Naples yellow, yellow chrome, gamboge, blues, cobalt, Prussian, and artificial ultramarine, greens, Veronese, and emerald, other, terra sienna, just sienna, sepia, black, and white. It's for a watercolorist. As a watercolorist, I think using a wooden palette is kind of hard. At least it's a lot harder than for other paints. Guys, I'm going to go offline in, well, let's say 13 minutes. 13. I really need to choose my accent when I'm talking. I'm just going to keep talking like this, which how I usually talk, but you know, when I'm getting tired, 13 or 13, I don't know. It's kind of getting weird there. It is quite an expensive book, but in all honesty, it has a high production value. If that's the thing with books, right? It looks. It's a really well-made book. Nice attention to details. Like I said, I haven't read it good enough to say anything about the content, but from what I've seen and just looking through the book, it's a really, really nicely made book. Happy holidays, Kevin. Thank you for joining. I'm live at around this time from, it's almost 10 now here, but 9 every Wednesday. So yeah, around this time every Wednesday, I'm live. And Thursday, usually I do kind of a afternoon session-ish when I'm just making paint. But that's been going a bit sideways because of my shoulder. I had a shoulder inflammation, but I won't start about this because everyone gets bored of it. But because of that, we have a new side quest, which is a 3-roll mill. Yes, thank you, A Watercolorist. It's a really well-made book. So yeah, there's things that, you know, I will try with the new thing as well. There's a lot of things to do and talk about during the lives. There's still a lot of pigments I want to show you a little bit more of. I still want to compare the two quinacridone golds here, which, you know, Guerra was kind enough to send me dry versions of their pigments. They usually only sell dispersants when it comes to the quinacridones. To be honest, Sebastian, I'm just sticking with the method I have that I would prefer, since I think yours will be very confusing for me, especially, you know, sitting here surrounded by them, and there's literally a shelf of as a cupboard of pigments here next to me. Like, everything I showed you was from that way towards that way over there, but there is a little cupboard of pigments that are in my regular line of paint, like 80 of them or something like that. So yeah. I'm going to have a look at what I'm going to do tomorrow. So tomorrow I'm definitely going to use the thick binder to make paint. With my 3-roll mill. I still need to... I don't need to, by the way. There's no need for it. I want to cover this. I want to put a layer of silicone in the feeding kind of. This is kind of more a sleeve than it is anything practical. I can do that now, by the way. I need to do it before tomorrow. So I can take you along with this as well. This is still an experimenting stream, right? I'm experimenting, and with this I need the silicone that I have over here, which goes 1-on-1 in parts of weight. So let's do that right now. It's 18 grams, which means I need to add till it's at 36. There we go, 36. Taking a plastic, shall I take a plastic one? Yeah, why not? Thoroughly mix this. There's air bubbles in it. Shall I also take out my vacuum machine? I don't know if I want to do that right now, actually. I have a solution. Yes, let's think. In a very creative way. Let's just try to suck them out. Not manually, not by hand. No, I'm not going to. It's not. But I am going to use duct tape. So watch and learn how maybe not to do it. Maybe this works. Maybe this doesn't. I'm sticking to the theme of my stream here, experimenting. So I wanna. It's really fun that you guys don't know why I'm doing this. I haven't told it as well. Like, I wanna put a silicone layer inside this sleeve that feeds paint into the 3-roll mill. And why do I want to do this? Because the silicone is hydrophobic. So by doing that, I'm lining the hopper. That is professional talk. Thank you very much, Sentience. There's so much words coming out of me sometimes, just, you know, because of it, and it doesn't add anything. Like, why am I even talking sometimes? So, okay, that is kind of okay. I think need to re-pop that hole. Oh, and I'm getting a notification again from OBS, just telling you here. So there might be some frame drops. I have a USB vacuum thing for 3D printer filaments. And now it would be ideal if I still have a USB port that can actually... I have... No, why is it not? Okay. Sorry, cable wasn't long enough, but it is not long enough. I will try it like this. Should work. Sounds weird, but it should work. Yeah, so the tape is sucking down all the way. Let me have a look if I can. It's not only that it's some, that it is something, but that didn't do enough. It is the device is it's like a little vacuum pump, which also works for vacuum bags of, you know, when you want to travel. But this thing I got from vacuum bags that I bought for 3D printer filaments, because if that is getting any moisture, the prints fail, basically. It's very absorbent, so you don't want to have that. I think I do need to use my vacuum machine, but I need to kind of install that here. I don't want to do that. But I want to do it right. Yeah, this feeds the well. Okay, let me show you. Is there a way to make your selfie screen larger? This screen here, yeah, but I don't. There's no need for seeing me bigger. I think. I don't know what you want. Why you want that? This is not my phone. There we go. This is my phone. So this is the hopper. So this feeds the. This is the hopper I made myself. So I 3D printed this one. And I don't actually want to clean that all the time between, you know, making paint. So there's a sleeve that goes into it. And I want to line this with silicone so I can print more of these. And so if I want to use, if I want to make another paint, I don't need to clean the entire hopper. I just take the hopper off, clean the rolls, change the hopper, and clean this later. Maybe I'm overthinking it, I don't know, but I want to coat this with silicone, and I think the silicone is bubbly, airy, free enough to actually do some coating here. So I'm just going to, I can take you along with this adventure as well, by the way. I only need a small layer everywhere. Yeah, I have like those filament dryers as well, Sentience. They do wonders, but when you take a filament and you want to print, you don't want to let it dry for 6 hours first. So those little vacuum bags come in handy. I wished I could do this more even. I'm sure there is a way. Maybe silicone spray. Just silicone, I don't know. Or a sprayable silicone. I don't know. Yeah, this was just an idea I had myself. I haven't seen this before. Maybe there's a reason for that as well. And I won't use it after the first time anymore. Maybe I'm onto something, I don't know. I actually got that little vacuum pump with the vacuum bags. I got that with one of the filament dryers, Sentient. Also, Sebastian, I don't want to have my selfie cam bigger here, because when I'm focused and I make faces, I don't want that to be full screen visible for anyone. So yeah. Can I do the silicone in layers? Maybe. Silicone only catches to silicone. But I don't know if I want to. So right now I'm just dropping it everywhere and let gravity do its work to make a thin and even layer. I only need a thin layer. It's the hydrophobic part that counts. And I think the layers will be thin enough to do its work, I think. I don't know what kind of paint you're using. You can definitely try it. I mean, feel free to try out anything. I'm not stopping anyone. I'm going to take another one of these. Just let it sit over here. There's like a drip plate underneath the 3 rollers. I showed that yesterday. I did the same thing. I just poured a little layer of silicone, and that was just on a flat surface. So I kind of moved it around and let it set. Before I started using the 3-roll mill, before I cleaned it for the first time, I have to say that. Maybe I shouldn't play with it too much. Maybe I should, I don't know. It sets in about 3 hours, so this can be a long life. Now I will just hold it like this and let it run back down again after this. Or I can take a big jar and just put it. No, I think it's mostly for the course. It's not even because of easy cleaning, by the way. I wanted to say that. It's just because of I don't want to lose a lot of paint because it's sticking on a silly thing like a hopper. So the more paint that flows off this, the less paint I lose when I'm cleaning. So yeah. I'm just going to let this set like this, I think, tonight. Can I do it? Can I do it like this? Yeah, probably can. I can do it. So thanks everyone for joining. I'm just going to let this settle, and the nice thing about this, you know, the layer that's still a tiny layer that's still in the cup here, is that you can just peel it off when it's dry in about 3 hours, or tomorrow morning in my case. So I will do that then. Anyway, thanks everyone for joining. Hopefully everyone has a great day or a great night, and maybe I go back online tomorrow to show you how it's going with the thick binder and the paint I'm going to make. Maybe I'm going to use the hopper for the first time as well. I don't know yet. Maybe this paint is too thick for the hopper. I'm not sure yet. This is just made because I saw that thing online for 200-300 euros. When you want to buy an original, I thought, you know, let's make one myself. So I don't even know if it works. I don't know why it wouldn't work though. Thank you everyone. Thanks a watercolorist. Thank you Sentient for everything. Sebastian as well. I'm just going to repeat it. Above the pigment number on my screen, which is a question mark, there is my Ko-fi link for those of you who want to look at the story behind the 3-roll mill and kind of the fundraiser I'm doing for that. So if you want to look at that, feel free to look at the website mentioned above the pigment number. Thank you everyone, and you know, for those of you who really don't want to look at the link is in this screen as well. Thanks guys.